want to ask Dwayne a question. And it is this. The more one reads the works of Dwayne, the great writer, surely the deeper one goes into the works. And the more one becomes like the Antichrist.
Okay.
I have become almost intolerant and impatient when one starts talking about works other than the new works, the works of Dwayne, the great writer, and the great knowledge and freedom that it brings. So, can we be termed the Antichrist? And what can you say, what can Dwayne say about this concept of the Antichrist, the mark of the beasts, which is designated by 666? Are we some sort of Antichrist? Because, in fact, the new presentation casts one in that light. Even if we don't say it, but you find that we just more and more become anti-something. So, can Dwayne throw some light on that?
So, yes, Charles. No, I like the questions you bring up. They're cool. A little bit scary, of course, because, again, it's the God idea that most people cling to. In other words, people have been so, controlled and indoctrinated by the ideas that there is one God and everything else is bad or whatever, or the Antichrist or whatever. And so, no, we don't follow into any anti-anything. Again, as I've said many times before, nothing is negated. Everyone is in creation to eventually recognize the all is. That's the whole idea. But in the meantime, we have all these invented ideas that really screw people over. And one of them is the Antichrist idea. Yes. And again, the cabal, the one world order, etc., they put these ideas out there so that people, again, they stay lodged in discrimination, protesting, hate, and all these other aspects that keep them here, tap line. And they purposely do that. So, no, we don't follow any of these categories that, we're in the world, we do what we do. But again, the adventure is to become more aware, learn to see the all is. This is the factor. And cause and effect, again, you have Christ and you have Antichrist. That's cause and effect. You have the dual aspects. And yes, we are in creation. We have to deal with the dual aspects, which is fine because these dual aspects help us wake up, become more aware. But at the same time, creating an agreement with something established, excuse me, just like, Joni has taken over the corporation and, has got an agreement to establish something that's a distortion. And so any of these ideas, no, we see the world, and they will see us many times as this, because they're programmed little robots to, take a look at anything that doesn't agree with them. Again, our focus is the all-natural environment, which is the whole of life. It's very, very simple. But at the same time, people don't get this, so they are taught to go towards something of a religious nature, thinking that that is supreme and absolute, when it's just simply in creation. And it has nothing to do with anything that we're doing, so we don't start to take on these labels. And Lawrence, you must be very quiet, Lawrence, or Kelsey will click you off. So, we don't want to be associated with any of these, discriminatory ideas, Charles. Because, again, the world constantly sets forth these things, and, we just have to be aware. We just focus on what we're doing. We make sense of things, and we let the world know what is happening because, yes, the place is being destroyed very rapidly, and there are other things going on behind the scenes that are being taken care of, okay, a little at a time, but it's a big deal because of free will. And so most people only see the surface world, They don't see the unconscious and then into the real universes. They don't see that at all. And it is a seeing and being position. But yeah, there's the idea, Charles. We don't want to be associated with the ideas that the cabal has marketed to people. Yeah, go ahead, Charles.
I have another concern too. I talked with a friend in England who is still a corporation member. He seems scared not only of his master Harry, but also of what we are doing. And he referred to me as an alien. He said that he had a strong feeling that I had become an alien, that I had taken on alien qualities. In fact, I was a bit happy because humans fear aliens. And I was glad to know that a corporation member who at least has some consciousness can term me an alien, which means he dreads me and he fears what we are doing this way. What do you say about this kind of statement? That we have some alien qualities? Do we have some alien qualities that we don't know? It's funny, but I would just have to ask.
No, I like these questions. They're fun because, again, it gives people information. In the United States here, especially in the southern states, we have people coming across the border, and they're known as illegal aliens. Okay, there's different types of aliens. So I don't know what type this person was thinking about you, but yes, in the United States, you would be thought of as an alien too. But again, I get the idea. So this person must be aware of the reptilians or something, so he thinks you're alien, or you're just alien to the fact that you don't agree with the corporation and Harry. Okay, so again, it's very obvious that these people don't look to the real side and the real guides. They just look to their own mind and the ideas they have and what Joni is producing from the corporation. Because again, we know that Joni owns the corporation and Harold's just a puppet. So that's very obviously seen on the real side. Anybody can ask Reba Zartars or Paul Twitchell or any of the real guys. All you have to do is just go ask them and they'll tell you. And so I'll use Claudie here as the great witness. Is that so, Claudie? Yes. Claudie and I work on some fun things together. Yes, Claudie?
Yes, they're here and they run the planet and we are their food source, their cattle. And every time that we express fear or anger, they have a meal. And that's how they live or survive. They live on low vibrations. And they want you to be as fearful and as angry as you possibly can be, because that's food to them. Yep, they're here.
You're talking about the aliens, not the real guides, right, Claudie?
Yes, the real guides are here too, and they're standing right next to you, and they're waiting to see what you choose to do to handle that situation. If you have calm and you're at peace with yourself and you stand in the all is in your awareness, then you have complete control of yourself and what you're going through. It's real easy. You just sing the new you, and in your heart have the intent always to be in the all is. And once you establish yourself there and your consciousness there and your awareness there in the all is, then all is taken care of and handled. And you become your centered spot of being at peace with yourself and calm. Being calm is a very important factor in handling any situation in life, no matter what it is, because these problems that we get and these fears that we have alert us and make us aware on what the real side is presenting us when we go into the dream state. Thank you.
So, Charles, yes, for the fun of it, I would have a little fun with this fella. And again, like here, we have illegal aliens, but you haven't even crossed the border. So how could you be an alien or an illegal alien? So you can have fun talking to him and him defining what he means by alien. You see, you get them to speak. You ask the question. So, yes, go ahead, Charles.
Well, I understood what he meant by alien. Just what Claudia said. It's in that light that he was telling me an alien, and so I said, "Wow, if I'm an alien, aliens even have more consciousness than people of Earth. So if you dread me, then it's fine, because I'm happy to see a corporation member who dreads me." So it was in that light.
There you go. You're kind of like the anti-alien, aren't you? Or pro-alien.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, you can tell them that.
Yeah.
You're pro-alien. Yeah, we take probiotics and you're pro-alien. I like that.
Yeah, this guy Ramon, he has a concern there in one of the courses. You talk about the fact that on the seventh plane, one cannot really describe how it looks like and all the activities that can take place there. And you say there is always an adjustment in the real universes when there are some kind of upheavals in the psychic worlds. So he wants to know what kind of upheavals there could be in the psychic worlds and how they affect the real universes.
Okay, well, that's a fun question. Actually, no, there is no effect in there, because cause and effect is in creation. And again, what we've come through, with Paul was a babysitter, and what he brought out was accordingly. And as I've said many times, it's in a literal sense. What he brought out, consciousness, God consciousness, all these things. And even the God Worlds chart was literal, all right? And that is that in the same sense, people use their one-dimensional mind and senses here, thinking that all life is according to whatever a person decides, and it's not so. And so this is where it took me a while to really see and have the experiences. Again, I could see the is, but there's a whole lot more to it than that. And so this is where we're in present day, and it's a recognition. This is what the real universe is a recognition and a perceiving as the literal part. So there are no upheavals or anything like that in the real universes, and to actually realistically get there, even though Paul had created the initiations, these things are rather a fallacy, because it's not about the number of initiations you have unless they're real, and it corresponds to your real awareness, and not just the idea of things in a literal sense. And so that's what they've become. And for the most part, most of the people that have had these so-called higher initiations or initiations, they don't necessarily correspond, because it's huge just to get through yourself first. But again, that's the personal self looking at these ideas, because whatever happens in creation happens. Okay, it's like a big playroom is what it is, aside from itself. It does not affect life. And just like a child in a playpen, it can scream and yell and throw things and whatever. It does not affect the parents. The parents just let the child go through it. And this is what people are going through in creation. And this is where they limit themselves by thinking that they know something when they really don't. So again, it's learning to see that. And besides those individuals with attitudes or what have you, or anything of that nature, they cannot get into the real universes. They're blocked. It's just very simple because there is no discord there. You have to have a certain recognition and perceive what's really taking place. And again, what is taking place with the corporation and all these things on Earth, basically, they don't see it. This is a new position. And I went through a lot myself in 2001 when I took the real position. It was at that time the rod of power. Okay, it was that at that time. It is no longer that. It's way more so. But I had to step back for a while because I needed a break. And so it's kind of like, you might say, I left the stage for a while. And then while I left the stage, okay, it's like the old saying, when the cat's away, the mice will play. So in came the dark side to present itself. And so it looked as though, okay, I did this or that, but that was the illusion of the dark side because they didn't want me here, etc. But I needed to step back, especially physically. Within myself, my intent never changed. No, it never changed. And certain people that I knew that were seers, they could see this. They actually helped me out and get back. But at the same time, this is what is happening in creation now. It's the new wave since '07 when Rebazar brought me back in when I was okay, etc. Because this is why I'm here to do this. But I just wanted to give a little brief history here, and that is that yes, but there is not that there. You cannot see the real universes, and as I redid the levels, they became so. It became the 7th level instead of the 5th. Because again, Paul started this off, and this was, you might say, the plan at the time. And even Harold and Darwin were part of the plan to show people what not to do. That was all part of it. But it takes a while to see that. And so here we are. And yes, there is absolutely nothing of the same but similar that there is in creation. That's why there's the deep dark border. Okay, the deep dark border is very important too. That's why I made it the 6th level, because it has to be recognized for what it is. Most people think it is the end of life. And so to be positioned with your real awareness and to recognize the so-called 7th level or whatever, but really the real universes, as I call them, are endless. And it's a matter of recognition. So whatever is decided by the individual already is there, which is here, you see? And so we are going through the gradual position of, learning to see what we can create. But in the real universes, there is no creation. You don't need creation. You don't need your imagination. You don't need these things because it's an isness to be recognized. This is what's so cool. And once an individual sees this, can see how this recognition works, this is where your freedom is because you have no restrictions. You see, in creation, you must think, you must decide, you must act in certain ways for things to become so. And that's fine. This is what creation is. Again, nothing is negated. All of creation has its real purpose, eventually to recognize the all is. Good, bad, or indifferent, whatever we've been through, it doesn't matter. You don't have to drag it. You don't have to drag anything anymore. Just let it all go. Just be now. And there is no karma. Okay, there really isn't. Once you have a real focus, you'll see there is no karma. Because karma is just cause and effect. That's all it is. So I've defined it more so. So yes, there is none of that. It's like the sun shining. Charles, it is pure and real, and you decide to recognize it. And as I've said many times, and I'll say it for the new people, simply take the time to decide to see what the sun is demonstrating. That's all. Not just look at the sun and see it shining, but really try to see with your real awareness what it is demonstrating to this world. Yes, take the time to do that. Learn to read it as it really is, because it's very real, and it is the best demonstration to this world of what the is is, and it's endless. It's not like the old idea, oh, I'm enlightened. No, that's silly. It's an endlessness. Okay, so what that means is that there's no end to becoming more aware. In creation, there are nothing but restrictions and limitations. Through these restrictions and limitations, we eventually activate that recognition to see more. That's the whole idea, and have a comparison to what is not real. It's so cool how it works. And so, as my witness here is Claudie, we have a lot of adventures together, more so than the world even knows about. And so, again, ask Revizor. Let's all just go ask Revizor and Paul. Yeah, that's what I tell the member shrimps. You know, I tell them to just go ask Revizor and Paul, but no, they want to look to Harry. You know, they want to look to Puppet Harry. You know, Joni controls the corporation. She always has. It's a takeover in Darwin's time, too. And so, again, read Book 9. But for those of you that have the time, talk to Claudie. We're together in the real universes with the real guides, and we do all kinds of far-out things. And what do you do there? Well, you have to recognize what takes place, or you don't. You just stay stuck with your personal self. And so because the world is self-destructing, because it's been decided to, and mainly unconsciously, everybody's agreeing to it, almost everyone, and they don't see this. So the biggest challenge is to get through yourself. So yes, only in creation, you can shorten this, Charles, is there cause and effect discord. But that discord, that deception, all of that disorder and everything that's taken place, it's all okay. Once you see it for what it is, it's not good, bad, or right or wrong. It's simply about recognizing the difference between what is real and what isn't. This is the cool part of it. So this is really an upgrade from all the so-called old wisdom and spiritual teachings, which actually mean nothing because they're all of the past. And this, again, is the new nowness. So, no, again, the idea is look to purity, look to the reality life is. The sun is shining. Everything is there. Everything is there. When you start to pivot off this isness, you see, this is the missing factor, you might say, that everybody needs. And so getting beyond oneself and this dualistic nature, simply to recognize it. It's not from here to there, it's an isness. It is all now, you recognize it now. You don't need to go through the third eye and the chakras and all this silly stuff. Again, that was the baby brain days. We don't need any of that. It's an isness. It already is, you recognize it. It's all here now. It's so cool. But again, no, there is no disruption there. The only disruption there ever is in one's mind, and then they project it outward, which we're seeing in the world today, all the nonsense. And so, you know, as I've graduated through this and, you know, woken up to what's taking place and recognized, you know, a better position to work from, you might say, to stand real with in this life, and that is the all-natural environment that supports all of us, because it really does, and it's being destroyed. Now, this only affects creation. It does not affect the real universes. But what does affect is the reality of each person, that it's unaware, thinking that creation is all there is, so they become the effect of it. And so we're trying to warn the world here as wonderful worldwide educators that, hey, there's a lot more to see than just, you know, the institutions, the systems that have been created to fix things, when actually they're the ones doing all the destruction. And there's something bigger behind that, and that's what we're dealing with. So, again, but it takes agreement. You know, people have to stop agreeing to destroying themselves and others, but they have to recognize that too. So this is a bigger view than just pretty words on stage. It's really seeing what's going on and dealing with it from there. So yes, Charles, no, there is no discord in the real universes, but you must earn your way. It's very real. You must earn your way. It's not just given. You must earn it, like a soldier earns his stripes. And you want to earn your way. You want to be real. You want to have real courage to stand real with the all is and the real guides. Again, I would suggest everyone focus on the all is, and especially with real guidance, Revizor and the boys. And, you know, I'll be there on the real side. We have many experiences. I'm there because I have the awareness. That's the whole idea. But it's not about me. It's about what life is. And so I always tell people, look, just ask the Rebusar. But it takes a lot. You got to get through yourself first. You got to learn to see all these things that restrict you. So again, the only discord there is in life is the restrictions basically that we agree to. Once we stop agreeing to restriction and we're only interested in becoming more aware and real and wonderful, then guess what? We're on our way. Just listen to the real guidance. It's so much fun. Yes, go ahead, Charles.